Hello and welcome to Sports News Africa, the home of Africa's sporting conversations. Let's take a look at the headlines. Defending champions crash out of finals, Nigeria Football Federation accepts blame. An amazing achievement, the story of a nation that defied adversity to qualify. And a goalless stalemate sees the Elephants through. Thank you for watching Sports News Africa. I'm Angela Agor. Nigerian fans have been left in a state of shock and disbelief after the Super Eagles were dumped out of the Africa Cup of Nations finals in Equatorial Guinea. Nigeria's problems both on and off the pitch have been well documented, but their exits will still come as a surprise. The country's football federation have accepted the blame for the failure.
The Super Eagles of Nigeria have vowed out of the 2015 Africa Cup of Nations after a 2-2 draw against Bafana Bafana of South Africa during the final qualifiers match in Oyo State, Nigeria. Fans in Abuja who had gathered at various spots to watch the match in earnest agonized as the Eagles failed to secure points to qualify for next year's tournament. When the match ended, the mood among them was that of bitter disappointment and regret as they left the viewing centers. Those who could gather courage to speak said the outing was a real shocker to them.
First, I was disappointed because as a defending champion, at least for the initially, at least because you will have used the right player at the right time. Because there's no time, a game knows that you have time like 30 minutes or 10 minutes, you can believe we want to make the game.
Do you know that this game is not a matter of draw? This is not a draw, it's a loss to us. Because this draw in 2-2 draw is a loss to us because the 2-2 draw, it did not take us where we are going to.
The Eagles' crash has also dealt a blow to recently reinstated coach Stephen Keshi, who was sacked last month over poor results. For now, Nigerians can only place hope in divine intervention for better results in future.
But I feel bad because as the defending champion, as the end of Africa, at least I just wish to pick a point so that we'll be the Nation Cup next year. But for now, nevertheless, we still pray for our boys. We pray for Keshi to give. We pray for NFS to give Keshi grace to take on the job, because ball nowadays is not only about changing coach that matter, but how you build up the team that matter. They should give it time so that you prepared ahead of many games to come.
It was, however, the match between Congo and Sudan that sealed Nigeria's fate. Congo beat Sudan 1-0 in Khartoum, climbing the ladder in Group A to second place with 10 points, sending the Super Eagles to third slot with 8 points. The 2015 tournament kicks off in January in Equatorial Guinea after Morocco refused to host the tournament due to fears of the spread of the Ebola virus.
Well, we can now speak to Mumini Alao, the Managing Director of Complete Sports Nigeria, to talk about where things went wrong for the Super Eagles. Mumini, the Nigerian Football Federation is taking full responsibility for the team's exit. Do you think this is enough to quell the anger in Nigeria?
Absolutely not. It will not be enough to quell the anger of Nigerians. Let me quickly say that the reason the NFF will jump to the defense of the team straight away is because it was the President Goodluck Jonathan, who actually untwisted the NFF to reinstate Stephen Keshi the last time out. And the President of the NFF, Amaju Pinnick, would not want to be seen by President Jonathan as saying, well, we told you so that he couldn't do the job. So he's taking responsibility so that the president will be happy with him, so to speak. Otherwise, Nigerians know better that Amaju Pinnick, the NFF president, is actually not happy with Keshi, and he will rather not take responsibility. So, as I said, Nigerians will see that as a political statement, and it will not, stop the anger.
OK, so the dust has settled after Nigeria's draw. How are the Nigerians waking up to this news?
You need to listen to the radio this morning. Every radio station in Lagos where I'm staying, everybody is talking about yesterday's game. and people are phoning in and they're expressing their anger. It's unbelievable. I mean, of course, we've always known that Nigerians are crazy about football, so it's not surprising, really. Everybody is very, very angry, especially after the Eagles managed to come back, against Congo 4 days ago now, on Saturday. Nobody expected them to be able to pull a 2-0 win away in Point Noir, which they did, and that raised a lot of expectation. So people just expected, Nigerians expected that they would just close it out against South Africa yesterday in Uyo, right here in Nigeria. But unfortunately, it didn't work out that way. The performance was terrible, and no excuses really, because everything was there. Everything was there for the Eagles to take that ticket, and they couldn't deliver. So Nigerians are quite disappointed.
Do you think the players have to look at themselves and say they didn't always perform?
First and foremost, I can talk for my constituency. I'm a sports journalist. We publish a sports newspaper, Complete Sports, and we were already making calculations on how we're going to increase our print run during the Nations Cup next year. That's not going to happen this time. Of course, also a lot of advertising that will have come into our publication is not going to happen. So everybody's angry. Those of us in the business of sports, we are quite angry that the Eagles have failed to qualify for the Nations Cup. And then, of course, Nigerians, football fans who always enjoy watching the Super Eagles play at big tournaments, the World Cup in Brazil a few months ago, and before that, the Nations Cup in South Africa. Next year is going to be completely empty of football action, because another Nations Cup wouldn't come until 2 years after that, which is 2017. Qualifiers will start in 2016, I guess. And then the World Cup, the next World Cup is 4 years from now. So it's going to be a really, really dry period for those of us in the business of sports. And also the fans who are, who enjoy watching the Super Eagles play. So I can't really describe how disappointed we are.
Where does Nigeria football go from here?
The players, obviously, they will not agree that they're not playing up to scratch. I remember the last game, the penultimate game against Sudan in Khartoum that they lost by 1-0. Some journalists actually took on the players and told them they weren't good enough, and it was going to result into a physical combat, really. So, and yesterday, after the match against South Africa, the players refused to speak to the media. Even Stephen Keshi, the coach, did not talk to the media. So there's been this animosity between the media and the team in the last few months, where the team has not been satisfied with their performance, and obviously the players think they are doing enough, and it's the media that is not appreciating their effort. So I'm sure they're not looking at themselves, but this time they have to look at themselves, because they have failed the nation. And what can I say? We're just so disappointed.
Mumini Alao, thank you for speaking to Sports News Africa. Guinea has also qualified for the tournament against all odds. Despite not being able to play for any of their group matches at home because of the outbreak of the Ebola epidemic, the Guineans needed a win against Uganda to secure their passage. They duly did that by beating Uganda 2-0. Welcome back to Sports News Africa. Ghana's Black Stars wrapped up their qualifying campaign with a convincing win over Togo at the Tamale Sports Stadium to finish as Group E winners. There was a party atmosphere at the Tamale Stadium with the crowd in good voice, and they were not to be disappointed as the Black Stars beat their neighbours 3-1.
It has been a very difficult match. Our opponents also came to win. They played very well, in my opinion. And I think that our boys did extremely well. They played to instructions and scored 3 goals. So, in a nutshell, I would say that it has been a very difficult week. Losing in far away Uganda, pressure was on us to at least also win this one and get Ghana to the AFCON. It wasn't easy, but the boys took us through, and I have to thank them.
What matters is we going back to our club and then make sure we are healthy, and then prepare for the African Cup of Nations. But As for winning, I don't really know for now. We have to just get to the tournament and then play our hearts out and make sure we qualify to the next stage of the competition, and then we think about winning it. You know, it's very, very easy to say any country that has qualified can even say, oh, we're going to win it. Everybody can say it's going to win it, but it will depend on the team, you know. So for now, we don't really know. We have to just get to the tournament and then prepare ourselves well, and then we see what happens there.
Oh, I not say we love the match first half, but our comportment and our attitude in the first half was very low, and especially we lost certain duel. We lost some contact, duel. Yeah, in the first half it was a lot. And we don't push and press like we do it in the second half. And that second goal again, that's come very early. The two goals come very early. It was again that the match was in the first half.
Elsewhere, Ivory Coast fans also got the party started by invading the pitch after the Elephants qualified. They needed just a point to be included in the draw in Malabo on December the 3rd. The Ivorians got just what they needed with a goalless draw in Abidjan.
The Ivory Coast needed just a point against Cameroon in Abidjan to safeguard their passage to the finals in Equatorial Guinea. Their opponents went into the game with the knowledge that they had already qualified as Group A winners, so the indomitable Lions could enjoy the occasion. The teams came out with the cheers of fans ringing in their ears. The Elephants kicked off with the crowd expecting a spectacle, but what was played out was met with frustration and a little boredom. The Cameroon captain Stéphane Mbia momentarily stirred the crowd from their slumber. He was red-carded for a professional foul on Javinho. After 90 minutes of not very inspiring football, the referee blew the final whistle. Cue the traditional final match pitch invasion. A goalless stalemate might not have pleased the football purists, but the result ensured both teams would go to Equatorial Guinea.
So let's take a look at all the results from the final round of qualifiers. Congo joined South Africa in qualifying from Group A. Mali's win over Algeria see them to go through behind the Desert Foxes. Gabon and Burkina Faso will also be heading to the Equatorial Guinea. Cameroon and Ivory Coast qualify, but DR Congo also go through as best third-place finishers. Ghana are group winners, but the big story is Guinea, who will be joining them. Cape Verde and Zambia go through. Tunisia and Senegal make it to the finals. Let's talk about the country where the tournament will be staged. Equatorial Guinea had co-hosted the Africa Cup of Nations alongside Gabon in 2012. And with Morocco suspended after it had asked for the tournament to be postponed, Equatorial Guinea stepped in at the 11th hour and agreed to host the tournament. But reaction has been mixed from Equatorial Guineans, with some saying the decision has been taken in haste.
To organize such an event, you must be a real African. These remarks made last week by Confederation of African Football President Issa Hayatou heralded Equatorial Guinea as the new AFCON host of the 2015 AFCON after Morocco was stripped of hosting rights for insisting the tournament be postponed due to fear of the spread of Ebola. The tournament now lies 2 months ahead, and to accept to organize such an event in such conditions, you must be a real African. But the announcement has sparked mixed reactions in the new host country, with many fans welcoming the decision and others opposing it. Fans like Rodrigo Malone hailed the move, saying nothing is wrong with hosting the 2015 AFCON tournament.
La decisión de celebrar la Copa de África en Guinea Ecuatorial ha sido buena porque
the decision to hold the AFCON in Equatorial Guinea is a good move for the African continent and for the country as well. We demonstrated to everybody that in Equatorial Guinea is a place for all Africans. The fact that our brothers in Sierra Leone or Liberia have problems is not a reason why we should give up the AFCON.
El brote ahí presente, tengamos que renunciar a la Copa de África.
La CAN va a traer nuevas cosas aquí. Nuestra selección también actuará tan como lo hacen.
The AFCON will bring us new experiences. Also, our team will be entitled to play against the qualified sides. We will be able to watch our team playing again in the finals of an AFCON.
Que el gobierno acepte que la CAN se juegue aquí en Guinea.
But other fans fiercely disagree, arguing that hosting the tournament while the Ebola virus still not under control could only spell disaster for Equatorial Guinea, which might not have adequate coping mechanisms should the virus hit the country.
Si un país como Marruecos, que es mucho más desarrollado, ya sea en la medicina.
If a country like Morocco, which has, amongst other things, a well-developed health sector, refuses to organize an event as the AFCON, it is not right to organize it here, because there isn't any medicine to cure someone infected.
Medicinas que puedan curar a uno si se queda infectado, ¿no?
La enfermedad de Ebola en nuestro país, normalmente lo que nuestro gobierno, los que han dicho sí.
The people who authorize the AFCON here forget that one single case of Ebola means the closure of our borders with Gabon and Cameroon. We will bear the consequences. The needy people, the ones with no wealth, will suffer from decisions made by someone else.
Los que no tenemos medios, es decir, nosotros vamos a sufrir las consecuencias.
The tournament is set to take place from January 17th to February 8th.
Welcome back to Sports News Africa. He is a man on a mission. Meksep Debesay is currently Africa's top cyclist. On Monday, he had won the first stage of the Tour of Rwanda and is currently fourth in the general classification. Well, we have the man himself on the line. We can speak to Meksep Debesay, who is currently in Rwanda. How is the tour going for you right now?
This tour is going very well. Today is stage 3, and it was a very hard race and hard escape because there was 3 climbs, high climbs, and dangerous distance. Yeah, just to keep we work today just to keep the gap of means or time. As finally in the sprint, it had a big corner. At this corner, it was a big crash. So today I was crashed. So it's okay for me.
You started the tour by winning a tight sprint finish in stage 1. What emotions did you have after that win?
After stage, I feel very happy because it was very important for me to increase my points to African tour and to win stage. Yeah, it's very important and a big victory for me. Yeah, I feel happy, so happy.
You are #1 rider on the continent. What is it like being in the spotlight?
Yeah, this time I'm number one from my continent. Yeah, this victory is good for me and also my country to develop my country bicycle, and it's good for official for my country riders.
Your teammate Dawit Hali won the third stage today. Why do you think Eritreans make such good cyclists?
Yeah, it was sprint, and I'm happy about that victory because he's my teammate before, and he's my country guy. Yeah, it's good for us and for my country, yeah.
And that's the end of Sports News Africa for today. Join us again tomorrow when we bring you all the latest from Africa and around the world. Bye for now.